Testament. Yeah, man. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling. 40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes. The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria.
Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. I want to thank everyone, of course, for joining into the show here on this 18th day of March in the year 2023. Seems like there is a little bit of an issue here with the Instagram feed. What's going on here, boys? Is it not working? We're having trouble starting the video. That's what it's saying. We're having trouble starting the video. Well, is it up and running? It says that we're up and running. Do we need to validate that, though? Is that what's going on? Well, no, we got to make sure that everything is working. So if it's not working, we got to make sure that it's up and running. At Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, at Sam Newsman on Facebook, Sam Newsman on, okay, well, so it's not working there. All right, so what is going on with the feeds? What do you mean they don't know? What? You mean the guys in the back have everything under control? Obviously, there's nothing under control if you guys can't get everything up. You know, we have several lives going on right now. Raw Talk, Real Deal, Cato's Collection. Cato coming in first. Cato coming in first. Shout out to Cato. Shout out to Raw Talk. Shout out to Ash Bailey. I'm not working. Well, something's not working. Can we get the feeds up? What do you mean, Lord Blanket? Lord Blanket's not even real. What? Communications disrupted across the board? What do you mean? What do you mean 11 o'clock signal? A special signal's coming in at 11 o'clock? And that's what this disruption is? Cobra? Listen, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. All I know is that I have a crew back there. I have a crew behind the glass. And I have these two guys in black suits that General Shu has all the time. And then now I'm getting communication disruptions from Lord Blanket, somebody who says they're Lord Blanket. Lord Blanket's not even real. What do you mean that he's real because there's disruptions in the communication? I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't belittle Lord Blanket. Listen, I'm tired of this Lord Blanket mess. No such thing as a Lord Blanket. Not even real. Are we trying to fire it up again? Let's see if we can do it this way. Aha! So there we go. So now we're on Instagram. So the Sam Cam's working on Instagram. The Sam Cam's working over here too. Shout out to Star Wars Squawk Box. That is Sergeant Schultz. Okay, so Mark Cosplay can see us. He's first. Then we have Skydro Walker. What do you mean? What? Yep. I see Harry too. Yes. Unfortunately, Skydro Mark was first. Oh man. So, what do you mean? Okay, so here we are. Anyways, you guys keep distracting me, but at least you have it up and running. Okay, so we are up and running at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman over here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Stop blaming everything on Lord Blanket. Not even real. Well, Harry, of course I know your name. If no one's following you, listen, I'm telling you what. Okay, Triple D's on. Listen, okay, so Harry, so HIRAOURAI. Well, no, that's what you have to fit. No, I'm not going to say it because if I try to say it, it's going to sound like I'm sneezing. No. But you guys are up and running now. Okay, so we're up and running at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Once again, here we are broadcasting live here on this 18th day of March in the year 2023. And it's 9:29. Of course, and everyone keeps talking about these disruptions. He ran awry. He ran awry. He ran awry. Yeah, he ran awry. I like that. See, he was smart. See, He was smart to sit there and phonetically, space it out so I can see it. Hiranori. But you spell that, though, Hiraourai. The first one. Anyway, I've spelt and I've said enough. Anyway, follow him on Instagram. Definitely does a lot of great custom work in the toy community. Very creative. Well, my favorite people in the toy community are the creative ones, right? Yeah, the creative ones, the ones that are making their own sculpts. But some of the photographers are great too. But there's only one photographer where you can go to Extreme Sets and save 15%, and that's Skydro. That's SKYDRO at extremesets.com. No, I can't say that anymore in terms of no. Well, no, that's not any type of promotion. I'm just sitting there telling you at Skydro Walker more information there. But okay, so it is. So are we? So we're all up and running, and everyone keeps talking about what's going on. So, guys, we have had a UFO sighting where I live. Looked crazy, is what Hiranori. Anyways, Hiranori. Gazunite. Harry. We'll call him that. Okay, Harry. Harry says that they've seen a UFO sighting. He said it looked crazy. Harry, where are you located? Tell us where you are. And, it might be able to pull it up on the interwebs somewhere. In terms of UFO sightings and everything, listen, I made a post about that this week, and something about that the Pentagon chief last week was talking about the fact that there's an alien mothership, 3 or 4 of them is what he said, is what Harry is saying. Mark Cosplay says, "Why didn't you want to get into the car last night?" Listen, I'm not going to get into the car when it's raining outside. Listen, it was raining outside last night. I would have gotten into the car last night and just crashed in the car, ready to go. You see, I'm always waiting for Germ. Yeah, well, you're back there behind the glass. Well, at least you're doing a good job. Well, no, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, Germ. No. Germ's upset saying that, it's his fault that disruptions in communications are down. No. It's not your fault. Everyone's blaming it on Lord Blanket. Now, I don't know if that's real or not. I blame the 2 guys in the back in the black suits. Harry's from Los Angeles. But he said it was seen all the way in San Francisco. Huh. Anyways, yeah, free breakfast meat. Breakfast meat is the top of the next hour. Anyways, once again, here we are, 9:30 here on the 18th day of March in the year 2023. It's been an interesting week. Now, of course, we had some theme songs here, and we'll get to those in just a few moments. One of the things that I do like to talk about right out of the gate is just, the news. Well, so hold on. Do you have the newspaper? Hold on. Let me see if we can grab this over here. And yeah, so we grab this over here, and that's it. And then we have the newspaper. So it's an actual newspaper. Yeah, one that you read. Now, I mean, you can read it off of a tablet too if you want. Only thing that caught my attention is the students with disabilities at the top of today's Richmond Times-Dispatch. Richmond Times-Dispatch, March 18th in the year 2023. Where your story lives is what it says. Where your story lives. And it says, feds threaten to withhold funding for special education. Wait, Virginia has a year to comply with IDEA law. And then so, hold on. Comply with the law, we're going to hold funds, is what they're saying. But the feds are threatening to take away money from special needs education. All right, so the U.S. Department of Education is putting pressure on Virginia's education department to come into compliance with federal law that ensures educational services to children with disabilities. The Virginia Department of Education has been out of compliance for years. So it's not necessarily the Fed's fault, it's Virginia's fault. Shame on you, Virginia. So if you don't tighten up, they're going to take away federal funds. Well, you know what? They can probably just take away federal funds anyway. So what is it? So the Virginia Department of Education has been out of compliance for years. And the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Special Education Programs indicated that continued noncompliance could lead to Virginia losing its federal funding. Virginia has 1 year to get into compliance with the law before it could face sanctions, according to a January letter from the Federal Education Department to then superintendent, to the then state superintendent. We won't read her name. Yeah, she doesn't matter. Sanctions would likely have impact on funding for federal fiscal year 2023, which starts October 1st of this year. This year's funding is not finalized, but Virginia received $312 million for fiscal year 2021 from the IDEA Act. So that's the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Part B funding. IDEA passed in 1975 and ensures that students with disabilities receive a free and appropriate public education. VDOE, that's the Virginia Department of Education, continues to work with its federal partners to ensure compliance with all federal requirements, as we have since the report was issued, said a spokesperson for Virginia's Education Department. So so Virginia is saying that it is in compliance. They're saying we're doing just fine. We're in compliance. But yet the feds say that you're not in compliance. We're going to withhold funds for you because you're not in compliance. So I'm not really sure if that's the case or not. I'm just sitting there saying, well, you guys in the back, so you guys can't hear them. They're talking to me right now. No, but you guys think that the feds should withhold the funding? Well, shouldn't the feds just give them the money anyway? Oh, wait. Okay, so you guys are thinking that the feds don't have the money. Well, in terms of money, well, listen, we will be getting to money. We'll be getting to money, finance, economics, and banking at the top of next hour. Now, we won't get into that now. We'll just save that. So make sure that you're tuning in to the top of next hour here in about 25 minutes. Then we'll talk about all the banking stuff that's been going on and what's been happening. Yeah. It's been absolutely incredible. Shout out to Motu Frank. I see casual over there in Instagram land. But so here we are. No, you guys. So no, what do you mean? The communications were disrupted again. Well, you know what? The feds should fund that. Because here I am doing a service as a real media puppet. They got all these humans on TV talking about, and people pointing at them saying, "Oh, you're nothing but just a media puppet." And here I am, a real media puppet, trying to do what I was born to do. I was born to host a radio show on Saturday morning, and you were born to listen to it and soak back into the nostalgia vibes in which we reverberate through the universe every Saturday morning. What? Stop it with this Lord Blanket nonsense. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Anyway, so what did we just play? Do you have the set list that just played? You do? Okay. So of course, Mr. Rogers and Pee Wee. Play that often, but Turbo Teen, Dragon's Lair, Lupin the Third, and Sectars, and then Captain Harlock. Okay, so that's what we played. That's what we were playing on the radio. Shout out to Mud Scuffer, Jason Lee, Dr. Rich. Right? Is the signal feed up? So, well, can Dave be patched through? That's the question. Well, listen, I wanted to ask some questions. I got this whole Captain Harlock thing that I held off from last week to this week. Last week Dave was doing a show at BonsaiCon, and I held Captain Harlock from last week to this week. Well, yeah. Well, I would hope that he would be able to explain it to me. Well, there was two different versions. There's a Japanese version, and the one that I played this morning was the English version. Will you be able to tell me what the heck it's all about? Are you guys able to patch him through? Communications disrupted. I'm sure if Dave. Listen, Dave knows what's going on. Anyways, here we are once again, broadcasting live here on the 18th day of March in the year 2023. Shout out to Gigashock. Shout out to DFS Infinite. But yeah, well, I don't know. Well, there was also this other wrestling theme. So is Dave patched in yet? Still working on it. Okay. Well, anyways, once again, at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, at Sam Newsman on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all over the place. 7,555 as of yesterday, the last time I checked. So, yeah, 7,555 followers on TikTok. Right. Well, hey, listen, I'm not really sure, but I think that we'll be able to stream next week, right? GalaxyCon and Politics and Pines. Question is it TikTok or Instagram? That's the question. Hold on, I think that Dave is called. Wait, what? He's not calling in, but you guys are patching him in through a secret line. What are you guys doing? Okay, let's see if we can pull this up. Dave, are you there?
Yes.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Dave, are you there?
Yes.
Hold on, we're still having some issues here. Hold on, wait a minute. I swear it's these Lord Blanket. I think there you are. Wait a minute. Dave, come in, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave, come in. Okay, there we are. All right. So,
8 hours in a car doing 20 miles an hour.
yeah, right. Indeed. I'm not really sure what's happening here. The communications are disrupted all over the place. Everybody keeps talking about this Lord Blanket stuff, but I'm glad that somebody was able to patch you through. Oh, my goodness. So here we are. It's Saturday morning. Last week you sent me a list. Last week you were doing an event, BonsaiCon, where you're talking about anime, Japanese animation. Right, yeah. So Japanese animation, and one of the shows, we'll get to it in a second, is Captain Harlock. But before we get to those, let's run through a couple of these other ones that we just did. So first, it was Turbo Teen. What's Turbo Teen all about?
Turbo Teen, I think that may be the most 80s show ever made.
Well, it looks like there's a teenager that gets transformed into a car.
Yeah, it's like he gets hit with a laser, and so whenever he gets hot, he transforms into a sports car, which raises questions.
It does raise some questions. It seems very odd.
If he gets his front tires changed, does he get new fingerprints?
Oh, you know what? Hey, that's very astute. It's very astute of you to think of something like that.
Well, yeah, they actually answered all those questions on Robot Chicken sketch. And the answers are as disturbing as you think.
I'm sure that they are, specifically with Robot Chicken. Now, another cartoon that I see over here, and I played it, is Dragon's Lair. Now, if you're not familiar with Dragon's Lair was an arcade game in the 1980s. Don Bluth, the creator of American Tail, and also All Dogs Go to Heaven. Was the one who animated those films. Now, a question I got for you. So this Dragon's Lair cartoon. Now, he also animated the Dragon's Lair video game, as well as Space Ace. But did he animate this? What's the whole Dragon Lair's cartoon about, and where'd that come from?
Well, no, Don Bluth did not oversee the cartoon. It's funny. The video game was actually Don Bluth and Rick Dyer. And if I didn't know this was not actually the first Laserdisc game.
What? Wait a minute. So what was the first Laserdisc game?
Astron Belt by Sega.
Sega. That's funny.
Yeah.
So.
But Dragon's Lair, and I remember Dragon's Lair. I mean, that was. This was like nothing that had been seen in the arcades before.
Well, yeah, it was an incredible game. You had to be very fast, very fast reaction time in order to get it to work.
That thing was a quarter eater.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's only a good arcade game if it does eat your quarters. But in terms of the animation, how many episodes? Do you know how many episodes this was, and what year did the actual cartoon be released? What was released?
Well, it only ran 13 episodes.
It's longer than the Sectars. Sectars ran about 5.
Oh, well, yeah.
So they had 13 episodes. What do you have a year? Do you have a year when this came? Because the arcade game came out, I want to say 1983, 83, 84.
Yeah, I want to say the show came out 1984.
Because the show came out after the arcade became such a hit. Yeah. So who animated this one again?
I believe I want to say Ruby Spears.
Okay, so Ruby Spears did this. Man, they do everything, don't they? Good grief.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, like I said, so we played Sectars. We've talked about that before. We both met Arthur Burkhart back at Joe Fest. I know there's a retro Twitter.
He voiced Singe in the cartoon.
Singe of what? Of Dragon's Lair.
The dragon.
Ah, Interesting. That's very interesting. So
Tying everything together,
that's how we do it. Wouldn't have it any other way. Now, the last thing, of course, want to go over with you here for a moment. Now, last week you were at BonsaiCon. You did a couple of panels. The first one of them you did completely on Lupin the Third. So we'll talk about that briefly. This is another Lupin theme that I played this morning. How many Lupin themes did they make?
Well, quite a few. Actually, the one you just played, that was the first season of Lupin the Third Part 2, the Red Jacket. There's like 4 different versions of that same song.
And so are they all from that second season, or do those other themes?
Well, actually, it's not so much a second season. It's more like a separate show.
Second show. Okay. Well, you see, I'm thinking in American terms.
From 77 to 1980.
Okay. So, but how many? So you said there was 4 versions of that one theme. Why would there be 4 versions of the one theme?
Well, they just decided to redo it for every season would get a new opening credit.
Okay. I got you. And how many Lupin themes are there? I mean, not counting the 4 of this particular one, but I mean, if you were just to say, okay, 1, 2, 3. I mean, you said Lupin the second.
4. Okay, well, let's see. You got Green Jacket. You got the 4 for the Red Jacket. You got the Pink Jacket. The Italian Adventure. I'd say probably about 9. That's just the TV shows.
Okay, well, like I said, you can always use your fingers to count. It's okay. I'm not going to judge. So 9, and that's not counting. You said films, but there's all kinds of. Anyways, it was interesting. Keep sending me Lupin themes, and I'll just keep playing them because I think that's a good topic, good discussion point. We can, of course, just develop that every week.
Part 2 that had 155 episodes.
And the whole cast stays the whole time. Now, when they did these type of episodes, they do them all in one big bulk, or did they have to keep on going and did they get renewed? Is it the same process like it's here in America when a show has to wait for a seed to see how the ratings are and they get renewed? Or do they just create stuff over there?
Well, it's fun. Well, when they did the Green Jacket in the early 70s, they first did like 26 episodes, and it's like, well, the ratings were okay, but, not good enough. But when they put it into reruns at a different time slot, the ratings were huge. So they figured, okay, well, maybe we got something here. So they just kept, they started doing films. Then in the late 70s, they figured, well, let's try it again with a TV show. And there you go.
Oh, gotcha. Interesting. So anyways, we're going to keep playing some Lupin themes every single week. So you'll probably just send me some different ones. I'm sure if there's 9 themes, and that's not even counting movies and stuff, we can keep on doing this for several weeks, it seems. Captain Harlock is what I played. Now, I played the English version. I think a while back you might have sent me the Japanese version. I can play that next week or another time, but I wanted to just play the English version because that's the one that I was jamming to. But tell us about this story, Captain Harlock. What's Captain Harlock all about?
Okay, well, Captain Harlock. Now we're just talking Captain Harlock or Captain Harlock and the Queen of 1,000 Years.
Well, so there's a difference?
Well, Captain Harlock, the original Japanese, when it aired here in the U.S., Harmony Gold took Captain Harlock and Queen Millennium and smushed them together.
Okay, so and I was going to eventually go there. So Captain Harlock, I guess the longer title, not just Captain Harlock, but just the longer one that you stated. So that was the original Japanese one. Listen, how do they even go about this process? Like, what is the mindset of them sometimes taking 2 shows, smashing them together, and then bringing them over to the U.S.? What is that all about, and why did companies feel like that was a good idea? And what's that whole process about? If you could talk about that for a second.
Like maybe they had one idea. Well, like you take Voltron, for example. The idea behind Voltron was, okay, we'll just bring over different shows. We'll put it under the Voltron name because, in Japan, typically shows end. like, okay, we did 65 episodes and that's it. But like if they want a show to run here, say Monday through Friday syndication, you know, for 52 weeks, I mean, do the math. That's you're gonna need a lot of episodes.
No, yeah. So Voltron. So this is interesting. So Voltron was several cartoons that were smashed together that were actually Japanese cartoons, and they just came over here to the United States, and they were just called Voltron.
Yes.
Now and so Harlock is the same way. Are there any other popular ones that people that you can think of?
Another example would be Shogun Warriors. I'm trying to find the theme for that. Well, that was actually what you call a wheel program. They weren't edited together, but the idea was, okay, we're going to air it Monday through Friday, and every Monday is going to be one particular series, and then Tuesday is going to be another, and so on and so on.
You know, the more you know. You know, I had no idea that. So Captain Harlock was a smash between. Now, what is the original Captain Harlock, the one over in Japan, all about?
Okay. Well, funny enough, the creator, what is his name? Leiji Matsumoto. I'm probably mispronouncing that. He passed away, I think, last month.
Oh. Thoughts and prayers to his family. So, but he was the creator of the one. Oh, okay. Well, he had a good life. So, right, yeah, that's a good run. So, what was the original premise of the show in Japan?
Well, Captain Harlock, basically in the future of 2977, basically humanity has pretty much peaked. I mean, they've touched every corner of the galaxy, and you know, they're just sort of slowly, everything's just sort of slowly breaking down. And Harlock says, "Oh, the hell with that." And you know, also mankind's also been invaded, so he he takes an actual spaceship, the Arcadia, and basically fights aliens.
Ah, standard fare. And so, but in America, how is that different with the Captain Harlock here in America as opposed to what they published in Japan? Because now you said it was two shows.
Took Harmony Gold took Captain Harlock and Queen Millennia.
Oh, so I shout out to White Vegeta. I see White Vegeta in the chat. He said Robotech was another good example of several shows smashed together. Can you talk about that?
Sure. But Captain Harlock, basically it's like let's check out my notes here. The Mazone, a race of sentient plants, they lose their planet due to a natural disaster, and they decide to take Earth. Captain Harlock gets blamed for all the Mazone attacks, so he plans to he teams up with Princess Olivia from the TV show Queen Millennia, and leads raids against them.
And how many episodes did it run for? I guess here are
65, and it is largely lost. It was not syndicated widely, so it was only in a couple of markets.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm telling you. Listen. You know what, Dave? I got the chat over here is blowing up. They're talking about Makaros, and they're talking about Robotech. They're talking about, was it Legioness? They're talking about all these things. They're saying that this is a common theme where they just take these shows, smash them all together. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and like I said, this will be the last thing that we talk about here real quickly. Didn't they do the same thing with Power Rangers?
Yes, actually. Power Rangers was sort of like the next step. They just took the action scenes from a Japanese TV show and replaced everyone with American actors.
Huh. Man, so they've been doing this for 20, 30 years now. Just taking.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything modern that they've done like this, or do they just, so I mean, or do they just make shows now and just kind of transfer them over?
Well, I
What do you
mean,
think?
they're doing, they're not lifting whole action sequences like they used to.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, the whole thing of Power Rangers, that's actually a type of show in Japan.
Right. Super Sentai?
Super Sentai.
Super
Yeah.
Sentai. Okay.
And, usually, like, they run a season, and, they merchandise, and they do all that. Well, this one particular show, Zai Ranger, ZYR,
Mm-hmm.
well, that was a bust.
I mean, ratings were terrible. The toys didn't sell. Well, Saban, Ham Saban, they noticed, like, hey, they've got a show built in, and they've got a warehouse full of stuff they're willing to just basically give it to us. Let's do something with this.
Well, you know what? I just feel like I just got a whole lesson. Dave, you're a genius. You're a genius. And what? I tell you what, like I said, I can just throw you any type of pitch. You're going to hit it out of the park every single time. I had someone just texted me. They say Super Chicken. Do you have any thoughts about Super Chicken? What's Super Chicken?
Oh, well, I'd have to look that up. But from what I recall, I can't remember the company, but it aired early 60s.
I think it might have been the same company that did Schoolhouse Rock, maybe? Is it the same?
Oh, I think it was the same company that did, like, Tennessee Tuxedo and his pals.
Ah, okay. All right. That's probably right. That is probably right.
I knew that.
Right. Well, somebody just sent me that, so I'm going to play that here in a second. And for some reason, I can't seem to get the other feed up. But like I said, we'll play some wrestling things. We're on our way to WrestleMania. We'll talk about wrestling here as we get closer to that and keep playing themes about wrestling. But Dave, you have a fantastic weekend. Want to thank you for calling into the show as always. I'll be looking forward to your email. Another Lupin theme. Is it Lupin or Lupin? Somebody's sitting there. Lupin or Lupin? How do you say it? Is it anime? And it's both. It's both, like anime or anima. No, Japanese animation. Anyways, so Dave, once again, thank you so much for calling in. We definitely appreciate your insight, your wisdom, and we look forward to talking with you. Well, not next week. Next week we won't be here. It'll be the week after next. So it'll be on my birthday, April the 1st. April the 1st. Next week. Thank you. As a happy early birthday to myself. No, it's not an April Fool's joke. No. My birthday is actually on April the 1st. But so next week we will be broadcasting live from GalaxyCon during this time. But yeah, so we'll be back next week on not next week, but in 2 weeks here on the radio. And of course, we'll be talking about more about that. Dave, thank you so much for joining in, and we appreciate you being able to get through here on this Saturday morning where it seems like there's a bunch of disruptions in communication going on. Thank you so much, Dave. You have a good weekend.
Hey, you too.
Yes, sir. So he was able to get through. Well, it's not the same. Communications are still down. Well, that had to be patched in another way. Huh. Whatever, this word blanket nonsense. I don't want to hear it. Super Chicken we got coming up. And of course, we're going to be back at the top of the hour talking about banking. Banking, yes, listen, if you've been paying attention for the last week or so, things are starting to crash down. Banks are starting to close up. And we'll talk about all of that at the top of next hour. At Sam Newsman on Instagram. At Sam Newsman on Facebook. At Sam Newsman on YouTube and Twitter. Also on TikTok, although we're not broadcasting live on TikTok, always shuts us down. I tell you what, listen, the government can go ahead. Listen, I know we have over 7,500 followers on TikTok. But if they shut it down, it's not going to really be an issue because it seems like they disrupt my live feed every single time anyway. Right. Anyways, we're out of here for the top of this hour. Super Chicken, and like I said, a couple of other things coming on. Communications are disrupted, so if you're trying to call in, like it's not going to work. But anyways, broadcasting live broadcasting live from the University of Richmond. You are listening to 90.1 FM. Download the Live 365 app, and you can listen to the show live and listen to all the cartoon themes as well here on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet, from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday Morning.
Looks like you will take a licking. There is someone waiting who will hurry